AFTV, Graham, good to see you here, mate, and I saw the tweet you put out about your mum, so that's great news as well ahead of Christmas. What do you make of the game today?
First of all, I just want to thank all the people, including yourself, Robbie, all the colleagues or friends I've met through AFTV who've been messaging me with their thoughts and prayers, and also the Arsenal family, people all around the world, from Africa. I've been overwhelmed by the comments I've received from people in America, Africa, all around the world who've sent me my best wishes. My mother, who's been ill for the last year, people don't know that, she's been in hospital. She's in the hospital. She gave birth to me on Christmas Day 57 years ago at the moment, fighting for her life.
Christmas Day's your birthday?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Wow.
And she went in with failing kidneys after abnormal blood tests. And they thought it might be a tumour, but she's come through that and she's fighting for her life. She's a fighter, like Arsenal. She's fighting for her life. And I just want to say a thanks to the Mercer ward in Maitland Hospital, where she is, who've been immense. I've been up there most days this week. And when you see these underpaid people doing what they do, it is absolutely fantastic. So my thanks to them. And she did say to me, how did we get on against Spurs?
It made her ill again.
No, it made her ill again, yeah. But, you know, so today, obviously, my first game back after a while. So it was a much-needed win for the team, Robbie, and against a very physical team, Burnley.
Yeah. Let me just ask you, like, on that, right? So some people saying they parked the bus. They didn't really, did they?
No.
They shocked me because they really pressed us high up the pitch.
They did press us up the pitch. They played a 3-5-2. Now, I like Sean Dyche because when you think of the money he's had, where he's taken Burnley from and where they are now, I think he deserves respect. And they don't just come and defend; they come and play. But they play in a very physical style. Win. They play for second balls. They play long. And obviously, against our style, that probably gives them. We like to play beautiful football, don't we? But their style obviously ruffles us a bit, and we've seen that over the years. And they do play for second balls, long balls. And I think over the last week, when we've watched our team fall away with the injuries, I have to say, I think Emery has been dealt a real bad blow, and all the criticisms he's been getting this week. Sad to see the fan base sort of like thinking that he's not doing a good job all of a sudden. He's been dealt major blows over the last week. Now, the two things he's been dealt with, in my opinion, is 2 players out for the season. You have to remember that. That has stopped him from rotating. And he's also, I mean, Welbeck would be somebody he could rotate at the moment and give Aubameyang and Lacazette games off. He's having to play Lacazette and Aubameyang all the time, and what that means is that they are not. They are struggling minutes-wise sometimes because they're not getting a rest. So the Welbeck injury was. I know a lot of people in our fan base don't rate Welbeck, but he does a job.
He was flying before he got injured. You know what I mean?
He does a job for us, right? And he could have taken the pressure off those 2 forwards in games. And the other thing is Holding. Now Holding for me was the composed, calm centre back who plays out in that back 5. So we lost a key player in that who plays out from the back, and then he basically was dealt a bad hand with the Kolasinac injury. You've got to remember, over the last few weeks, the key to the team has been Kolasinac going forward down that wing, and I thought he was immense again today with the assist. And for me, I think Ozil was man of the match, and I'll come on to that in a minute, but I think if people are saying Kolasinac is man of the match, I would say that's a fair call. So he's lost the ingredients that make this team wing-backs combining with wide forwards, and he's lost injuries at the back. I think what he should have done, really, is when you lose the core of your team, and I know he's had to play Xhaka out of position, and I understand why he's done that. I don't agree with it, but I can understand why he's doing it. I think you have to have the team playing in a different way, and I think that I would like to see him at the moment, if we're not going to have the players who are comfortable on the ball round the back, I want to see him go not long, but go quicker from front to back.
He was trying to sort of do that in the second half, wasn't he? Yeah. He was trying to hit it to the flanks.
Well, I think when you get a goal back, I think one of the reasons we've been struggling in the games this year, because we've always conceded the first goal, we've been chasing games. When you get the luxury of the first goal, you get more of a chance to dictate games. And but when you concede the first goal, you're chasing games. And so we could play a bit on the counter-attack. And both our second and third goals, they were on the counter-attack. 4-man passing move for the second goal. And we managed to isolate Aubameyang one-on-one with their centre-half. And if you can do that, you only get that luxury when you're ahead in the game. When teams come and take the lead, they sit deep there and we're struggling to break them down. Today we got the first goal, we could dictate the game more. So that was a good thing. I think the other thing, and when I've looked at the stats over the last few games, is we are struggling to create between our midfield and our forwards. For example, in the Southampton game, I think there was only 14% passes in the final third. That tells me that our midfield's not connecting to our forwards. So you ask yourself, why is that happening? What is the missing ingredient? All of a sudden he turned up today, Mesut Ozil. Now, I defy anyone, and I know I've got a lot of people who don't like Ozil.
Ken's one.
I've got a lot of respect. I don't disagree with Kenny on anything. Kenny understands football inside out, right? And I've got a lot of respect for Kenny. But do think Ozil has got a key part to play in this team. I'm not saying that he is everything. I'm not saying that we should think that Ozil, get ahead of ourselves and say Ozil is Arsenal Football Club. And I know Kenny is very much, it's all about Arsenal Football Club for Kenny, and I respect his opinions enormously. But I think today, that pass today, you tell me one player in the Premier League who could have, that defence bit in pass. No,
Kenny, come here. Come. How you doing? Come round this way a bit.
Yeah. No, mate.
Go on, so you tell us one player.
I can think of, De Bruyne, Ericsson have got just as much vision as Mesut Ozil, and they outperform Mesut Ozil on a consistent basis, and they do it in the big games. And that's my criticism of Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil's got natural ability to play football. It's unique ability that you're never ever going to see in another generation. However, Mesut Ozil project has not been working for the last 5 years. We've tried him in every position, and Graham, we spoke about this before.
Yeah.
We've tried him on the wide right, we tried him wide left, we played him in the number 10 position, we played him in the false number 9, all relative success. Yeah. Unfortunately, Mesut Ozil was not suited to our game, and it's a shame because he's got fantastic footballing ability, but he isn't world class.
I mean, Graham, yeah.
Right.
What you said, like today,
right.
On the point that he's making, like what you said.
I think
you said he showed up today, but what about will it be a tactical decision then to leave him out against Brighton because it's an away game? They're going to be physical. I mean, this is why guys like Kenny can moan, innit? He's got to be more consistent. You've got to do that every week.
Well, do you not think that he came to our club in 2009 when we hadn't won a trophy for how many years was it? And since he's been here, we've won 3 FA Cups. That's the first thing I'll say. The fastest Premier League player to 50 assists, beating Eric Cantona's record. Now, you have to play Mesut Ozil in a system, right? And I think behind the front two is his system. Now, he played today in a 4-3-1-2, which suits him. Now, I'll come back to that goal, Kenny, and I do rate Kevin De Bruyne. Are you telling me Christian Eriksen could have taken that ball and curled that in behind for Kolasinac? I don't think so.
What I'm trying to say is my point.
And also, Kenny, sorry to interrupt you. You're a legend, mate.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think the way he engineered that goal, he took the final pass. He was working the space, working the opening, and the pass he took in his stride, and then to flick it, bend it the way he did, was absolutely unbelievable. From that position to take the pass, the pass wasn't comfortable the way it came back to him, and he made the pass look easy. And I think that a lot of criticism he gets is because I think you have to understand that he's in a team. When he come to Arsenal, we go to places like Man City, right, and we go to big teams who have spent massive amounts of money. Those teams have got more quality in them than we've got. We have to be honest about that. So when he goes to Man City, if you're expecting him to dominate in a game against an 11 where he's got £50 million players on the bench, when Abu Dhabi FC are running at Man City, I think you're maybe asking even too much to Ozil. He's a World Cup winner. He's played for Real Madrid. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo was absolutely sick as a pig when he went. He's world class.
He's at Arsenal Football Club.
He's Arsenal Football Club, Kenny.
But the thing about it, what you're saying, I get your points, and I've never doubted his ability. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that at a club like Arsenal, and when you pay him £350,000 a month, and you adore him with world-class status, he has to be a talisman. And his goal output is not good enough. It's not because at the end of the day. All right, let me say it. The guy had.
You know what? Because some other people here to interview. But let me just ask. I'm going to ask you both a question, right? So, does he start the next 2 games for you, Brighton and Liverpool?
He starts at Brighton, definitely. I would like to see us move to a 4-4-2, Robbie. Right? So
you wouldn't start him at Liverpool.
I haven't got round to that. You interrupted.
You start.
I would like to see him play at Anfield, in a 4-4-2. I think that we set up with 4 defenders. We play Torreira at the pace. We play 2 central midfielders, all right, on the left side and the right side, and he's at the front of a 4 with Lacazette and Aubameyang. All right, so that's what I think we should do. I think instead of criticising Mesut Ozil, I think we have to look at the deficiencies in our team. The deficiencies in our team are, we've got at the moment, we're not pressing the ball in central midfield like we were in the season. We're not stopping crosses coming into the box, we gave away a bad goal today. We should have cleared it and we didn't. So that's 2 things. And I think that also, when I look at our team, our central midfielders are allowing players to run off them too easy. They nearly took the lead today when I think Westwood got through. He was not tracked by our central midfield. That's not Ozil's fault. It's not Ozil's fault when we make mistakes at the back, is it? So why do people criticise him? I think you have to understand that he's a great footballer, and I think he's got a part to play in the club moving forward. I think Emery. I have to say, I think. Listen.
No way.
Listen. I think Emery has made I have to say I see why Kenny's saying it, because Emery this week has sort of like said almost like there's been leaks coming out that he doesn't. He's Emery's style of football. Ozil, can he press? Can he do the things that Emery wants? And they're apparently been disagreeing behind the scenes. No, so in my opinion, and I'm not manager of Arsenal Football Club, I've got a lot of respect for you, Emery. But all those people start criticising me, saying I know better than the manager. I don't, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'll say that. But if I would like to see him in the Arsenal team in a.
So he starts in those next two.
He starts in the two next games.
What about
behind
you?
the striker.
No. I'll consider him from Brighton, but against Liverpool away in a big game away from him, absolutely not. We're not going to have enough of the ball for him to get into the game. And the fact of the matter is that the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of times where we're going to have to press, and sometimes we're going to have to sort of like stay back. That's not Mesut Ozil's game. People talk about Mesut Ozil about, oh yeah, he doesn't do this and that. The fact of the matter is that the guy does not have defensive responsibilities, and when you don't have defensive responsibilities, you have to do it in the last third, and he doesn't do it. He does not score enough goals, and people have to accept that.
All right, listen, we can have a debate. This debate will go on for years, right? Years, but listen, great.
He creates goals, right? That's the first thing.
But he doesn't do enough of that, and he hasn't been doing enough of that in the last 2 years.
Against Tottenham here last year, he was man of the match, pressing from the front when we turned Tottenham over.
But that's one game. He has to do it consistently.
I know he does.
If he does it consistently, me and you will not have this discussion, will we?
And the team have to be more consistent.
To be continued. To be continued.